Okay, so this is going to be your go home video for Steele. I know we talked a little bit yesterday or Tuesday when he went home that we want you just clicking and feeding with your left hand at the very bare minimum. There's a lot of value in that step alone because there's this really old adage that says if you have 3 hours to chop down a tree, spend 2 hours sharpening your axe. This is going to be your axe. So before we do anything, I always like to just check and make sure he's going to be willing to take some food. So I'm just going to offer him some food. He's taking it very enthusiastically, which I really like. I'm going to click and I'm going to feed. And if you notice, I click and then I move. All right, what we don't want to do is be clicking and moving our hand at the same time. So I can click and I can feed. In the very beginning, we're really not super worried about what behaviors he's doing when we do this behavior process. We're just teaching him that when you hear this click, the next thing that's going to happen is food is going to be provided to you. What this is going to do is create a lot of enthusiasm when he hears this click. He's going to know, ooh, the good thing is coming. What this allows us to do is to show him exactly when he did the thing we like. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play a little game called the attention game. The attention game is a game that we play in the beginning to help teach our dogs that engaging with us as their handlers is super rewarding. So the rules of the game are I'm not allowed to say his name. I'm not allowed to tell him to do anything. I can't tell him, come here, let's go, look at me, pay attention. I can't tell him to do anything. I can't pull on the leash to get him to look at me or anything like that. But what I can do is I can become extremely exciting and very, very interesting. When he decides to look at me, I can go ahead and click the moment he looks at me, and then I'm going to give him a piece of food. So he's doing a good job paying some pretty good attention because we've been doing this all week with him. But when he looks away, I'm going to go, puppy. He looked at me, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to give him some food. If you notice, when I give him that food, I'm going to actually back away from him a little bit. I'm not going to feed it into his face because think about this. If I gave you $100 and I shoved it in your face, you're probably going to back up like, whoa, even though it's $100. So I want him really reaching out for that food as he comes in. So he's doing a good job. Look, he's paying attention. I go, puppy. And I'm going to have him walk towards me as he's getting that food. Okay? Puppy. Good job. Puppy. I'm not going to let him eat it off the floor, so he just dropped that piece of food, but I have more in my hand. Puppy. I could mark for him just looking at me, but I really prefer if he just came towards me instead. Good. And remember, throughout this process, as things get more complicated and there's more moving parts, keep your hand still until after you click. Puppy. Okay? And if you notice, I make a lot of really, really weird noises, weird sounds. I say a bunch of goo goo gagas. Good job! But I'm not telling him to do anything. I'm not using his name. I'm not calling him. I'm not telling him to come here. Nothing. I'm just making a bunch of weird noises, okay? So you got to get a little bit comfortable with yourself at home, getting his attention, looking at you. Now, do that for a day or two when he comes home this weekend. And as he's getting more engaged with you and just stares at you, waiting lovingly for that food, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to encourage him onto my left-hand side. So I go, puppy. So I'm going to start walking in the same direction. And he's on my left-hand side. I click. So now the game is to get him paying attention and walking on our left-hand side. Puppy. He wants that piece of food on the floor so bad, but too bad. Puppy. So what I'm doing is the exact same game we just played, but now I'm positioning my body in such a way that I'm going to encourage him over onto my left-hand side. When you do this at home, it should be fairly simple, fairly easy to do because he's been doing it here all week. Puppy. What are you doing? Good job. What a good baby. Oh, here, I'll give you another one for free because you dropped that one. Good job. It's a good baby. Good job. So this way, there is nothing really helping him walk next to us other than the fact that we're really interesting and walking next to us is really rewarding, but nothing is forcing him to do it. The leash is just there to help prevent him from eating the treats off the floor and to prevent him from going off and running into traffic. We're not using the leash to do anything just yet. It's just a safety precaution. Good. Oh my goodness. So as long as he's next to me, I can continue to click and feed and click and feed. As long as my hand is stationary when I click. I can put my hand in my pouch and click and then feed. Click and feed. Always give yourself a little like 1 Mississippi. Click, 1 Mississippi, feed. Click, 1 Mississippi, feed. I shouldn't have clicked there because he's not looking at me, but I was thinking more about the 1 Mississippi. It happens. You're going to make mistakes at home too. It's okay. Puppy, good baby! Yeah, it's a good baby. Click and feed. I don't really mind if he's looking at my hand right now. We're going to use a lot of luring in our training program anyways, and luring is just where he follows the food in my hand anyways. So ideally, yes, I want him looking at me because I'm very interesting, but if he's looking at me and the food in my hand, it's going to be helpful anyways. So I just used the leash right there to stop him from eating the food on the ground, but that's all I'm using it for. I'm not going to use it to pull him to me. He has to decide to give up on that piece of food if he wants to come get the food that I have. Puppy! Yeah, good choices. Good choices. So every time he makes a decision I like, I'm going to go ahead and reward that. Oh, it's a good baby. So the heel position is this position on our left-hand side, ideally when he is paying attention. Puppy! What's he doing? What's he doing? So I'm going to now only click when he's on my left-hand side and when he's paying attention. He's got an itch. Now, if you take him home and he's just really killing it and the whole time he's home with you, he's just glued to your left-hand side in that heel position, you can start to use the heel word. We haven't done a lot of it here, but if you're feeling very confident, I have no problem with you introducing it as long as you do it in the right way. So, hey, what are you doing? Puppy! Hi, what's he doing? Once he's already in that heel position and walking pretty consistently with you and just kind of staying next to you as you continue to just shovel food in his face. What are you doing? Puppy, hi. What you can start to do is you're just going to say the word heel right before you click. So it'd be heel, feed, heel, feed, heel, 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 heel. Now if you notice, if he kind of lags behind me, I'm not going to reach back to him. I'm going to make him come forward, heel, to that treat. Oh, he dropped that one. But he knows he's not getting it, so he has to come over to me if he wants that cookie. And by cookie, I mean kibble. So this is going to be all your homework is. Start from just rewarding for attention. Doesn't have to be in any specific position. Don't ask him to sit or anything like that. Don't ask him to sit in front of you. Don't ask him specifically to be in front of you. If he is in front of you when you're doing it, not a super big deal. But ideally, we want him on our left-hand side throughout this process. Oops, he got a cookie off the floor. Bad boy. Well, he wanted him on our left-hand side as much as possible. Every skill we're going to teach him while he's here is going to be in this left-hand position. So I want him to know that great things only happen on your left side. Now, you're also going to keep your sessions really short, so I can tell he's already kind of getting a little tired, a little full. We're starting to lose that enthusiasm, so we're going to end it. But just remember, click, then move. If you have any questions, feel free to call me, text me. If you're at home and you kind of don't understand what you see in the video here, let me know. I can make another video specifically about whatever it is you're struggling with. All right, but that's going to be your homework this weekend, just the heel behavior. We've been working on a lot more than just heel. Good boy. If he starts to get bored and frustrated and starts to bite on his leash, it's another sign it's time to end the session. All right, we'll talk about how we teach the dogs to let go of the leash if he does decide to bite it. We will talk about how we teach him that biting it is unacceptable, but that's going to come later in the training program after he knows that training is awesome. All right, have fun. Let me know if you have any questions.